Emanuel Navarette defeats Sugar Nunez at the start of round 11 via doctor stoppage, TKO. Yeah, Emanuel Navarette, pretty dominant from start to finish. It's not the fight that I imagined it to be. I did predict Sugar Nunez to win, but to be fair, right there, Sugar Nunez couldn't figure out the style of Navarette at all. Sugar Nunez's corner, I think, wanted Nunez, trying to make more angles, trying to find ways around him. But on that Navarette style, it's very difficult to create angles. Very clear to see it is. Sugar Nunez had 10 straight rounds of trying that, and nothing seemed to go his way whatsoever there. I mean, even when Sugar Nunez was able to push forward and get his way on the front foot, he was still just constantly walking into shots and probably still didn't even win those rounds where he was able to come forward on the front foot. It was pretty dominant from Navarette, really. He was always just making Sugar Nunez walk onto big shots. And yeah, like the range, I think, was just working in his favour massively. Sugar Nunez couldn't really figure it out whatsoever. He couldn't get a pin on Navarette. Navarette's movement, very awkward. And it was Navarette the one who was able to make those angles. And with his awkward style and very awkward angle making, Sugar Nunez, I think, seemed to be very basic for someone like Emanuel Navarette in there. It seemed a very basic style that Navarette was able to find ways around. And that's what it showed because, arguably basically won all those 10 rounds, basically, in my opinion. I had it 8-2, but again, I think round 5, because that's when Sugar Nunez came back and everyone was like, oh, this is going to be an absolute war now. But Sugar Nunez was still very arguably losing that round because he was walking onto a lot of shots, even though he was coming forward and landing some good shots of his own. Navarette was landing, some real big shots in that round still. I don't remember the other round I gave to Sugar Nunez. It might have been round 8, but again, I think, I can see a case where you give it to Navarette. Again, Sugar Nunez looked to be building momentum, trying to build more momentum midway through the fight, but he was still walking onto massive shots and, let's be honest, losing the rounds. Navarette, I just think the hooks were class. I mean, he did keep some shots pretty tight, but again, the wild, long ones that he was able to throw, Sugar Nunez wasn't really knowing what hit him, to be honest. I mean, again, Sugar Nunez showed a ridiculous level of toughness throughout. I mean, we already knew that he had all that in him, but again, he was getting punished. He was getting wrecked, and I do think it was right for the doctor to stop the fight. The eye was bad. It was very bad compared to what it was at the start of round 10 to what it was at the start of round 11. It was getting beaten down badly in that 10th round. So I do think that it definitely was right for the fight to be stopped. And he was just taking a load of unnecessary damage, really, Sugar Nunez. A lot of unnecessary damage as we were going on. He was never going to win the fight. He was never going to come back into it. Momentum was on Navarette's side throughout the whole fight. Sugar Nunez hardly had any momentum whatsoever, but it was Navarette just completely stopping that, moving around him well, whipping in hooks to the body, moving off, creating all different angles around Sugar Nunez. And again, Sugar Nunez just seemed so basic for Navarette to be able to make those angles around him. But again, it's the styles that make fights, and Sugar Nunez's style was just basic, tailor-made for someone like Emanuel Navarette to be able to just, box rings, fight rings around and just put a brutal beat down on him throughout the fight, mixing his shots up well. Navarette put on a decent body beat down on Sugar Nunez as well. I expected Sugar Nunez to try and work the body of Navarette more again, but again, much easier said than done if we're being honest here. I think the uppercuts we were seeing from Navarette were catching Sugar Nunez down the pipe a lot. I thought, the lead hooks from Navarette were very good throughout. I thought everything was good. Navarette was able to, just be so accurate on Sugar Nunez, really. And I thought Navarette had a great, he's very good at managing the range throughout the whole, 10 rounds that we saw. He was very good at being able to manage the range throughout. And he was very good at, I thought he was very good at tucking up on the ropes, and when he was put on the back foot, taking shots, firing right back, and still being able to make it his fight. I thought he did that very well in the 5th and 8th round when he was stuck on the back foot. He was still being able to manage the range well. He was still able to dip in and out of range a little bit. And again, take some big shots on the gloves, take some big shots on the elbows whenever Sugar Nunez went to the body. But again, I expected more of a body beatdown from Sugar Nunez. But again, easier said than done on a style like what Emanuel Navarette has got. But overall, war at times, but it was still just a one-sided war. It was just a punishment, really, from Emanuel Navarette for the majority of the fight. Just an absolute punishment and beatdown that he was able to put onto Sugar Nunez there. But fair play to both guys. Good fight. Emanuel Navarette absolutely punished Sugar Nunez overall, though.